Thank you, Pastor. And now I'd like to call the school board meeting to order for today's date, October the 25th, 2017. And we're very blessed today to have Sean Livingston. He's with Winston Academy of Engineering. He's going to come and lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Not you, Sean. How's it going, Sean?
Good.
Well, we're so happy that you're here today. And you go to Winston Academy of Engineering.
Yes.
Do you like that?
Yes.
What's your favorite class?
Science.
Science. Wow. And what grade are you in?
5th.
5th grade. And what do you want to be when you become an adult? Do you know yet?
Yes. A president.
All right.
Remember, he said it here first.
And you know what, Sean? You can be the president. There is no doubt in our minds. The way you said that, you've already claimed it, haven't you? All right. Now, you brought your beautiful sisters with you and your lovely parents and your administrators. Would you like to introduce them to us?
Yes. I have my 2 lovely sisters, Morgan and Maya, my 2 outstanding parents, Mom and Dad, and my amazing administrators, Miss Brown and Mr. McKenna.
Wow. All right. Now you just warmed my heart. Mom and Dad, you guys are doing a great job with him. Great job, honey. And we hope that you come back very soon, okay?
Okay.
Let's give him another hand, please. Now that's the way to start a board meeting.
Amen.
All right, the next item on our agenda is to accept the agenda for today's meeting. And we are very blessed to have our deputy superintendent today, Mr. Hutek, who is acting for our superintendent who's not able to be with us today. So, Mr. Hutek, I know that we have some revisions. Can you read them, please?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, the revisions to today are item C3, the Interact Alliance Program recognition. We've added back up to that. Item C5, approving the minutes to the September 5th board work session. We added back up item C7, approve the minutes of the October 10 work session, remove that item, and item R83, the request to waive the school board policy regarding vacation leave has been added.
Thank you, Mr. Hutek. And what is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda for October 24th, 2017, with the revisions as noted.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we accept today's agenda with the revisions that were read. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Mr. Hutek, I know that we have some 2 special recognitions.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. At this time, can I have, first I would like to thank Sean Christian Livingston for Winston Academy of Engineering. That was fantastic. Thank you very
Great
much
job.
for that. This time, if I could have Board Member Billy Townsend please step forward to assist with our special recognition. And if I could have Angie Ellison, Executive Director of the Interact Alliance, will step to the front of the auditorium to receive the proclamation for the National Red Ribbon Month.
Okay. Proclamation, School Board of Polk County, Bartow, Florida. Whereas substance abuse is the most common risk factor impacting youth and society, and the prevention education programs offered by Interact Alliance have proven to be effective tools in reducing risk factors and strengthening protective factors, with recent research showing that 80% of Polk County students in 6th through 12th grades choose not to drink alcohol. And whereas Interact Alliance has been providing prevention education to youth and adults in the Polk, Hardee, and Highlands County communities since 1985, working diligently to reduce the abuse and underage use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs through community awareness and involvement, prevention education, economic support, and leadership development. And whereas Interact Alliance serves as the fiscal agent for the Stand Up Polk, adult-based, and Youth Impact, youth-based coalitions for a drug-free Polk, and works in collaboration with the county and local law enforcement to host the annual Own the Upside Prevention Summit, medication take-back events, and establish permanent prescription depositories to safely and properly dispose of unused medications. And whereas the 32nd annual Red Ribbon Campaign is highlighted by Polk County's Red Ribbon Half Marathon, 5K, and popular Kids Fun Run, presented by Interact Alliance and the title sponsor, Publix Supermarkets, Inc., on Saturday, November 11th, 2017, creating a community event where adults compete in the half marathon or 5K, and elementary and middle school students participate in the Kids Fun Run around picturesque Lake Mirror and Lakeland's beautiful downtown and the Lake to Lake area to support prevention, education, anti-bullying, and discourage risky behaviors. Therefore, be it resolved that I do hereby proclaim the month of October as National Red Ribbon Month. For every citizen is encouraged to wear a red ribbon to symbolize our commitment to a healthy and safe environment for each citizen, and participate in events during the month of October and throughout the year that support a positive, healthy lifestyle. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the School Board of Polk County to be affixed at Bartow, Florida, this 24th day of October, 2017. Signed, Jacqueline M. Byrd, Superintendent of Schools, Kay Fields, Board Chair, District 1, District 5, Billy Townsend, District 1, Lori Cunningham, District 2, Hazel Sellers, District 3, Sarah Beth Reynolds, District 4, Lynn Wilson, District 6, Tim Harris, District 7. Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve this proclamation as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we proclaim October as Red Ribbon Month. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Angie.
Yeah, thank you.
She's being shy, but Audrey Kelly Fritz is here in support of us. We couldn't do what we do without the school board allowing us entree to the kids, to your staff, and we really appreciate all that you do. I hope that you will affix a red ribbon to those cool Mission Possible shirts. That can apply to a lot of things, so I think those are really awesome. Lastly, I just want to say that a lot of times it's easy to get mired down in the negative, but the truth is that most of our kids are amazing, like Sean, and making great choices. And so we hope that you will keep that in mind as we attack the problems that we have, but also celebrate the great things that Polk County has. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say that I don't want to take away anything from what she has said. She is a wonderful partnership with Polk County Schools. Thank you for all your support for Red Ribbon Week and for drug prevention throughout the school year. And I also noticed your Mission Possible shirts, and I had the privilege of getting to stuff a few of those bags, and they were very nice, very wonderful, and we appreciate those too. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, we've got one more with will the representatives for Lakeland Electric please come forward to speak on their recent donations to the Polk County School District?
Hi, my name is Cindy Clemens. I'm the Utility Marketing Manager for Lakeland Electric. Thank you so much for letting us come tonight. I'd also like to shout out to Marissa Green. She's a great partner. I've known her for a very long time, and I'm very happy to be working with her again here in this capacity at the school board. Lakeland Electric is, I've only been at Lakeland Electric for about 2.5 years, and we're really trying to really strengthen our community outreach. So one of the things I've been working on is how are we going to impact the schools. So Lakeland Electric in particular, we have 3 programs. One has been going on for about 3 years, and it's the calendar contest for the elementary schools. And that's a big thing. Everyone has been seeing that for several years. The new one is we just gave $8,000 to the middle schools in our territory to help the teachers buy STEM necessary supplies for STEM activities, so something that you'll see like in the science labs. And then the final one is new. In January, we're going to launch a scholarship program for all the high schools in our territory. So it'll be a $1,000 scholarship for one high school senior at every high school within our territory. So we're really excited. We're working with all of your staff members here to help all those things come to fruition, and we want to thank you so much for this opportunity. One more thing is Betsy Livingston used to work very closely with the school board, and she retired earlier this year from Lakeland Electric. So now we have a partner in human resources at the City of Lakeland who's taking over Betsy's role. I brought her with me tonight. Her name is Cindy McCullough, and I'm just going to let her talk really quick because she's doing some amazing things as well for the academies that are in the school.
Hi, my name is Cindy McCullough, and I'm the HR manager for the City of Lakeland. And we're doing some amazing things with the academies and trying to keep engaged with the schools. One of the things that we're currently doing is we're donating 10 computers to Lake Gibson Pre-Power Academy to assist in furthering their education. We've also been working with Ten Rock High School on educating students on how to develop and execute their career plans. So we'll be working with them throughout the school year, teaching them interviewing skills, how to write resumes, how to search for jobs. We are also in the process of building social media pages to enhance our communication between the academies and the employers. We recently had a conversation with TICO as well to join us in partnership with the Power Academies to help more opportunities for those students to get jobs. This year, we are hoping to have all 3 Power Academies compete in Skills USA versus 1 Power Academy that we had last year. We are also working hand in hand with Misty Osborne at Ten Rock High School to create a mentorship between the pre-academy at Gibson and to the Power Academy at Ten Rock. So the actual students will go over to the middle school, mentor those students, teach them about the Power Academy so we can have students transitioning. And then we're having Travis and Polk State College come to Ten Rock and do that transition on that side to further their education there, so.
So what are you guys not doing?
We'd love to do whatever you guys need, and we'd also like to see more employers start to step up and build those relationships as well, because it's been great for us, so.
Well, thank you guys for leading by example. And
Thank
thanks for the
you.
impact that you make, not only in our school district, but also in our community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Madam Chair, that concludes the recognitions.
Thank you, sir. And the next item that we have on our agenda is a time for anyone that would like to have comments on anything related to the agenda for today. All right, now we will go to the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. The first set is the approval of the minutes for the September the 5th, 2017 work session.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for September the 5th, 2017 work session. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item will be approving the minutes for the September the 5th, 2017 school board meeting.
Move approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for September 5th, 2017 school board meeting. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item would be approving the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull anything from the agenda? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And Mr. Hutek, we do have some new administrators.
Yes, ma'am. We've got 5 new administrators today. This is exciting. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the 5 new administrators we have. It is on behalf of Superintendent Jacqueline Byrd, is pleased to recommend the appointment of Makisha Brown as the Assistant Principal of Crystal Lake Middle. Ms. Brown previously served as a TRST and the I3 mentor for the Professional Development Department. She attended the University of Central Florida, earning a bachelor's degree in elementary education. She went on to earn her master's degree in education leadership from the University of South Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Hutek. Thank you, board members. I'm so excited for the opportunity to serve in this capacity, to serve the district and the Crystal Lake community and work under Ms. Carter's leadership. And as a product of Polk County Schools, I'm definitely grateful to be here to sow seeds as so many educators sowed into me when I was a student. So thank you all so much. Oh, I'm sorry, I have my mom. I have my mom here. My father's on a work trip. And he was unable to make it, but I think we're going to record it for him so he can watch. So, thank you.
Congratulations. Our second new administrator this evening, Superintendent Jacqueline Byrd, is pleased to recommend the appointment of Dr. Danielle DiConcilio as Assistant Principal of East Area Adult. Dr. DiConcilio previously served as the reading coach at Kathleen Middle School. She attended Florida Southern College, receiving a bachelor's degree in English, Literature, and Dramatic Arts concentration. She went on to earn her master's degree in Education Leadership from the University of South Florida and has earned her doctorate in Education Leadership from Florida Southern.
What? This is so exciting. Thank you, Jackie Byrd, with whom I have played dodgeball at Kathleen Middle School. I know she's thinking of me right now. Mark Hutek, who interviewed me, you made an excellent choice. School board members, Kay Fields, she was in charge of the girls' club when I went there back in the day. What, Kay Fields? So it's so wonderful to literally look around the room and know people. College roommate, hi Monica. Right, Masters people, Tracy Upton, okay, Byron, didn't even know you were gonna be here, doctor. And my family, of course, my granny, my Lily named for my granny, and my Aunt Betty here tonight, hello baby. And even, I am so beloved, Lily's principal and assistant principal even came to see me here tonight. Had nothing to do with Sean being the most perfect thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Winston. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've worked very hard, and I'm gonna do a great job. I promise. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Superintendent Jacqueline Byrd is pleased to recommend the appointment of Eric Orthosen as Assistant Principal of Purcell Elementary. Mr. Orthosen previously served as the Dean of Students for Auburndale Senior. He attended Florida State University, earning a bachelor's degree in social studies education. He went on to earn his master's degree in education leadership and administration from Florida State University.
First of all, thank you to the board. Thank you for this opportunity to Beth Nave and Mr. Bellamy and the committee at Purcell Elementary, who deemed me as being a good candidate for this position, and I'm absolutely excited for the opportunity. I wanted to take some time to thank some people. First off, I want to thank my lovely parents, because we all know education starts in the home. Dr. Howard Otheson and my mother, Karen Otheson, who served as an educator here in Polk County for over 20 years. I want to thank my lovely wife, Missouri Otheson, for all the support she's given me throughout my career, especially my years coaching when I'm not getting home till about 12 o'clock at night, and she's there making sure everything's ready for me when I get there. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate you. I also want to take time to thank all the administrators who invested time in me to get to this point. I want to thank Mr. Ty Bruno and his wife, Polly Bruno, 2 outstanding principals here in the district who devoted their time to me. I want to thank Jen Mills, who is an awesome instructional leader and administrative leader, Ishmael Portillo, Tyrone Wilder, and most importantly, I want to thank the principal of Auburndale High School, Mr. John Hill, for the outstanding opportunities that he's provided to me as an educator so that I can pursue this path. And last but not least, I just want to thank everyone who's educated me. I, too, am a product of Polk County Schools. and I got a state education. Thank you. I got a state education here in the state of Florida, and I am so excited about the opportunity to reinvest everything that everyone has invested in me and our students here in Polk County, Florida, and continue to be the gem of our state. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and thank you again.
Superintendent Jacqueline Byrd is pleased to recommend the appointment of Angela Price as Assistant Principal of Lawton Childs Middle School. Ms. Price previously served as the Senior Manager, Induction Program Lead in the Professional Development Department. She attended Florida Southern College, receiving her bachelor's degree in elementary education. She went on to earn her master's degree in education leadership from Southeastern University.
First, I'd like to say thank you to the board, Superintendent Byrd and Deputy Superintendent Hutag. Thank you so much. I have had some amazing administrators invest a lot of time in me. Ava Brown being one of them, Cheryl Joe being another, Mark Thomas, who used to be with our school board. Donna Ray is another, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunities that they have given me. I feel like they put a lot of time and investment in me and helped me to grow. I'd like to thank Regional Assistant Superintendent Tracy Collins, as well as Principal Brian Andrews, for giving me the opportunity. I'm super excited to learn from you and then lead alongside you as well. And then I have some family members here. My dad, Barry Roberts, he is amazing. And he actually walked the grounds of Lawton Childs when it was Lakeland Junior High. So I'm happy to walk right behind him. My husband, Mark Price. My children, Molly and Noah Price. They're young adults and teenagers. And then my friend, Monica Fales, is also here to support as well. I'm very humbled by this opportunity, and I'm blessed beyond measure. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, Superintendent Jacqueline Byrd is pleased to recommend the appointment of Jennifer Wiedemann as the Assistant Principal of North Lake Elementary. Mrs. Wiedemann previously served as the Dean at R. Bruce Wagner. She attended Florida Southern College, receiving her bachelor's in sociology. She went on to earn her master's degree in collaborative teaching and learning from Florida Southern College and education specialist in education leadership from National Louis University.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the board as well as the selection committee for giving me the opportunity to serve the students and the families of North Lakeland Elementary. I'm looking very much forward to working with Mrs. Kim Seeley and leading with her, moving the school in a forward direction. I would also like to take the moment to thank my outgoing principal, Mr. Ryan Foster. I've learned everything about being an instructional leader from him in the past few years. I too have had many mentors and colleagues to teach me about leading and instructional coaching. Also, my family, my mom, Barbara Rich, is here, as well as my husband, Evan Weideman. Would you please stand? And I see also my first mentor, Dr. Gwen Kessel, is here, and she taught me long before anyone else did about being a leader and a mentor to others. Thank you to all of my colleagues and friends that are here. I'm looking forward to serving the community here in Polk County.
Congratulations.
Madam Chair, that concludes the appointments.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations to each of you. All right, if you all would like to scoot, now would be the time.
So well put.
What's wrong, Joanne? supposed to smile.
She's hiding.
Joanne, you're supposed to sit up and smile.
No, I'm getting out of the way too.
It's your photo.
I need to be Sean's campaign manager. I need to be Sean's campaign manager. Very, very confident.
You got it.
Yes. He is that. Probably. Yeah, very humble. All right, so now we will return to our regular agenda. And the next item on our agenda is to approve the request to waive the school board policy regarding vacation leave.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the request to waive school board policy regarding vacation leave. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item would be to approve the Sales Tax Oversight Committee appointment of Mr. David Byrd. And Mr. Harris, I think you're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Byrd served in the school district for a number of years as a teacher and also as the district's agricultural coordinator. And he had retired several years ago and works at one of the local colleges down in the south part of the county. And he lives in Polk City, and this is a District 7 appointment to the Sales Tax Oversight Committee for this next term. And I'm honored to be able to recommend him for appointment.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the appointment of Mr. David Byrd to the Sales Tax Oversight Committee. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item would be to approve renewal of the Edgenuity contract for virtual curriculum at $830,000, $400. $830,400.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the renewal of the Edgenuity contract for virtual curriculum. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to accept the donation at Point Sierra School site in lieu of impact fees.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the donation at the Point Siena School site in lieu of impact fees, and it is a direct swap of land of the exact amount. So I feel it's a good decision for the board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded we accept the donation at Point Siena School site in lieu of impact fees. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to approve the recommendation for contract modification with Lakeland Montessori Schoolhouse for a 15-year term.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the recommendation for contract modification with Lakeland Montessori Schoolhouse for a 15-year term contract. Is there any discussion? Mr. Harris?
I'd just like to go on record as continuing my disapproval of a 15-year contract for any of the charters. I don't see that it is a benefit to the community to grant an organization that long of a contract. Even though we still as a district have oversight, I don't see that it's in the best interest. Charter schools have been in existence for a number of years without that, and I continue to believe that they could continue without having a 15-year contract and tying the district up for so long. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Are there any other comments? If none, we have a motion on the floor to approve recommendation for contract modification with Lakeland Montessori Schoolhouse for 15 years. Is there any Further discussion? If none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
We have 6 ayes and 1 nays. Motion carries. All right, so now we have finished with the regular agenda, and now we will go to public hearing. And today we have school board policy updates. And Mr. Bridges is going to walk us through this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wendy Dodge is not able to be with us today. She normally takes lead in the conversations about updates to school board policies. The School Board of Polk County, as every other district school board in the state of Florida, is a policy-making entity. You have a specific grant of legislative authority to adopt policies pursuant to the control, management, and operation of the schools within your county. And the district has for some time contracted with a specialist entity called Neola, which used to be an acronym for something, but now is their proper name. And they are in the business of watching the statutory changes and the regulatory changes and updating school board policies so that they are compliant and stay compliant as the laws and regulations change. So most of these that have been brought to you today are changes that are recommended by Neola so that your policies will continue to be compliant with state and federal law. The policies that are brought to you today are number 1420, which is benefits, 3419, which is group health plans, and the subparagraphs 01, privacy protections of the self-funded group health plan, subparagraph 02, privacy protections of fully insured group health plans, subparagraph 3, which is a new policy, Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, 6605, a new policy on crowdfunding, which has become an issue recently, 7540.02, which is a replacement policy having to do with web content services and applications, and policy 8475, criminal background checks for contractor access. Madam Chair, if once you have had input from the public, if there's a board member who wishes to have a separate discussion, you can pull any of those for that purpose. Otherwise, you may hold a single vote to adopt the entire slate.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges. And now we would open it up to the public for any comments that you would like to have on any of these policy updates. So we don't have anyone in the audience, and so if any of the board members have any comments on this, or if you all would like to do a motion and just take all of them at one time, unless somebody would like to pull one of the items.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the policy updates for 1420, 3419, 3419.01, 3419.02, 3419.03, 6605, 7540.02, and 8475.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the policy updates that were just read into record. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the public hearing is now adjourned, and we go back to our regular school board meeting. And Mr. Hutek, I think it's time for you to give your report.
Yes, ma'am. On behalf of the superintendent, I've got a couple announcements to make regarding the upcoming meetings. An impasse meeting impasse hearing will be scheduled is scheduled at Jim Miles Center at 5 p.m. on Monday, October 30th, 2017. Then there's the next work session will be held at 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 14th, 2017 in the superintendent's conference room, followed by the school board meeting at 5 p.m. held in the auditorium located at 1915 South Florida Avenue. That completes superintendent's report.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Bridges, do you have a report?
No further report, Madam Chair.
All right, so now we go to the school board members' report. Mr. Townsend?
Yeah, I have a couple of things that may take a couple minutes. First, I want to get something on the record. It's become pretty apparent to me that Brandy Garcia Blanchard will never work in this district as an administrator again, that we're going to prioritize Jade Looney's word over hers. She's not been given a chance to work anywhere else. Maybe we don't need a bilingual Hispanic administrator, with no record of discipline to speak of, but I'm sure other counties do, Hillsborough or the Highlands, wherever. I think because she's never going to work here again, apparently, this is going to be a lawsuit. I would like to see if the board is interested in engaging in settlement talks with her attorney now. She's got a career that's been destroyed under very, very, very sketchy circumstances, and I'm going to do whatever I can to give her a chance to clear her name, and maybe starting settlement negotiations would accomplish that. So, at the risk of being stopped, I'll make that a motion. See if anybody seconds. I guess I'll take that as a no. Second part, I want to read some excerpts from a teacher who sent me a very long note about 2 weeks ago. I get a lot of these, a lot. This one's pretty articulate, though. I just wanted to read a few parts of it. I'm going to start doing this too. It was a campaign pledge of mine to bring some teacher voices to the board. First of all, we were told yesterday that we are now going to have our music and art teachers coming to our classrooms and teaching from a cart. This has a lot of ramifications. First of all, the music and art teachers have been displaced. Their equipment will be stored on the stage, which due to lack of room had been converted to teacher lunchroom, and art equipment will be in a conference room. The teachers give up planning in their rooms or try to plan with students in the room. The worst part of this arrangement is that our students lose. They lose working with large instruments, clay, paint. They lose the basics of music and art. Our school absorbed another school this year, and they just keep coming. There is no regard for lack of space, loss of activities, or just the overall workload being placed on teachers. I am grade chair of a third grade group of 8 teachers. I understand there are schools with more, but they have room. They have portables, and they didn't absorb every year for the last 3 failing schools. We were 1 point from a B this year after being 1 point from a D the year prior. It takes us a year to regroup and catch up every time they do this. We already are zoned for some of the toughest kids in the county. We work hard and well, but there is a limit. Many of us are working upwards of 60 hours a week at school and more at home. Sunday, our parking lot looked like a work day. Someone commented to one of our teachers that they had driven down a certain road and thought we had something going on at school seeing all the cars. We don't mind and love each kid and every kid, but sometimes swimming uphill gets tiring and we don't say anything until now. We were also told payroll now requires us to write on our timesheet the hours we are supposed to work. As salaried employees, many find this deceitful and uncomfortable. Do they not want an accurate record of hours worked? Are we supposed to lie? We always felt that no matter what we were thrown, we could do it, but now the quality of education we owe these kids is diminishing. Our art and music teachers took it well. We all will try to work through this, but I have to tell you that when you spend the day with these kids, with a lot of behavior issues, parent issues, and your heart breaking for them, you need small things for your own emotional and physical health, like a 50-minute planning without students and lunch in a quiet place. Many of the hours we have to spend doing our job are county created and don't have any impact on learning. We spend at least 1 planning a week changing numerous bulletin boards to reflect the week's standards. 2 planning and meetings, and the remaining plannings will now be in a classroom full of children. Our grade level with 8 classrooms mean three classes are split into other classes, so kids are already crammed. They deserve better. It's not just a negative impact on these children and their education, losing art and music to a cart in their classroom. We see more hours we will need to be at school to get our work done. I can't tell you how many times I hear, I just wish I was spending all this extra time on my students, planning, creating, and researching things to do in my room. There are other parts of that I could read. I know the pep rally was well intentioned. I didn't raise Cain about it ahead of time. I just stayed away. But this is what we need our people focused on. This is what we need our leaders focused on. How do we ease that burden? How do we ease that morale? And then to have our local newspaper weaponize the pep rally to use it as pressure in negotiations is sort of a classic metaphor for how education works in this state, in this county, in this country. You know, those of you who didn't see this, the newspaper editorial writer said teachers threw themselves a pep rally, which, as anyone knows who's been involved in this, is absurd. We need to think about the things that matter. How human beings experience education, how our kids experience it, how our teachers experience it. The fact that maybe, just maybe, our hiring problems, our teacher shortages have something to do with more than just than people not wanting to teach as a whole. That's all I really want to say about this for now. But you can expect me to bring a lot more to each of voices here. Thanks.
Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a few items as well. Want to start off by telling everybody that we're all wearing the Mission Possible T-shirts today, and that was something that we had discussed at the teacher pep rally that afternoon, and felt that it was very important to show support. I personally feel that this was a wonderful opportunity to get everyone together and to be able to say thank you for the unsung heroes, which are the people, in my opinion, who went out to the shelters during Hurricane Irma and were there operating our shelters, our schools as shelters, and I know several of you just raised your hands here in the audience, and gave of your time and your family to come out and be there for families who didn't have a safe place to be during the hurricane. So kudos once again to all of you who did that, because that's a difficult decision to make, to be away from your own family to help support others during such a crazy time. So thank you so much. I also wanted to thank Susan Warbington. Susan is our new executive assistant for the Polk County School Board office. And in the short time that she has been in that position, I feel that she has done an exceptional job. No matter what time of the day you call or ask for information or something, Susan is on it. And I don't know if I've said thank you enough times, but I wanted to publicly thank you for your time and your talent and your ability to shuffle all the balls and keep them all in the air at the same time. You're a wonderful assistant, and thank you so much for all that you do for each of us. Yeah, she's awesome. I also wanted to make just a couple announcements. We're coming up into obviously our fall Thanksgiving and Christmas season. There's going to be a lot of events taking place. So I wanted to just get a few things on your calendar. For those of you who enjoy getting out and seeing musicals and theater productions, we've got Thoroughly Modern Millie at Harrison School for the Arts happening the weekend of November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the school. I promise you it's going to be a phenomenal show from some of the sneak previews I have seen. So if you get a chance, please come out and join us. You can get tickets online. You can contact any of us for that information. Similarly, we've got Hamlet going on at Davenport School of the Arts, November 3rd through the 11th. This is our middle school in the northeast area of the county, and we have a new drama teacher there, Miss Elford, this year, and she has put her heart and soul into this production. And if you get a chance to come out and see that, I'm sure the kids would greatly appreciate it. So, and I know Haines City High School's got a couple things coming up. I've got 2 different dates, so I'm going to wait and check with them before I make that announcement. So, and I'm sure Ridge Community High School as well. So hopefully I'll bring that next month. So I wish each and every one of you a wonderful week. Be safe. And Madam Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Sellers?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to recognize some of our students this evening and some of our instructors who have led these students. But last weekend, the Summerlin Rifle Team competed in the Florida Sunshine State Games, and I want you to know that in the female category, Summerlin student Stephanie Salvucci, and I hope I said her name correctly, took first place overall in the female category. And second place went to another Summerlin female, Allison Wagle. Awesome for the females at our military academy. The males also J.D. Southwell took first place overall in the male category, and Nathan Nguyen took fourth place. So Summerlin did very well, and this was these were state games. So congratulations to Summerlin, and their rifle team coach was Stephen Beck. So I appreciate the efforts. I know Mr. Lloyd Harris also attended those. We have instructors that go above and beyond because they spend their weekends, and it's exciting because these instructors, they get excited about these events and look forward to taking their students. Also, several of us went to the marching band performances, and I'm telling you, our bands, first of all, they were all awesome in my opinion, because they're doing phenomenal maneuvers and they're playing at the same time. I could never do that. I can't play standing still. So it was a treat to watch. But we had many take straight superiors. They were Auburndale Senior High, Bartow Senior High, Frostproof Junior Senior High, George Jenkins Senior High, Lake Gibson Senior High, Lakeland Senior High, Mulberry Senior High. We had a visiting team, Oviedo High School, and they also took straight superiors, and Winter Haven Senior High. We also had Lake Region make overall superior, and we had several excellents, which were Haines City High, Kathleen Senior High, Ridge Community Senior High, and Tenorock High School. But I want to thank all of our band directors. They put in many hours. If you saw these performances, oh my goodness, these students all, they deserve a hand for their hard work, and our band directors really deserve great respect and appreciation for the work they do for our students. And so that concludes my report tonight. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Reynolds?
Thank you. Lynn and I attended the homecoming celebration in Winter Haven last week, where All Saints, Winter Haven High School, and Lake Region have combined their homecoming parade, and it goes down to Lake Mare. They have a big festival with the ski show and fireworks, and it is really incredible because if you're from the Winter Haven community, it basically splits at high school where you're all of a sudden not going to school with the same people anymore. So as someone who went through that, where half of my friends went to Lake Region, half went to Winter Haven, it's really cool to see them all coming back together. They had several tables set up for different decades where they had yearbooks and things set up. So it was a really cool experience just to have them all together. They also have a shout out to the Winter Haven cheerleaders. One of the Lake Region homecoming couples, their car had broken down just as they were leaving, and so they threw them in the bed of the truck that was pulling their trailer at the end. So it was just really cool to see both of those rival high schools coming together. Also, I attended Stepping Out for Education and the Lip Sync battles. Lip Sync is the Winter Haven Public Education Partnerships fundraiser, and Stepping Out is Polk Education fundraiser. And they combined raised over $75,000 for the students in our community for scholarships and teacher organizations, things like that. So it's pretty incredible that our community is so invested in our students, and I think we forget that sometimes. Also, a shout out to Billy, who wasn't going to say anything about it, but danced in Stepping Out for Education. There are videos online. I can post the link if anybody would like to see them. But he did a great job, and so thank you and Julie for stepping up for that, so that the rest of us didn't have to. And I think that's
only temporarily.
So and that's all of my comments for today.
All right, Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What Ms. Reynolds didn't mention is that Winter Haven High School is in her district, Lake Region is in my district, so it made for an interesting evening as we went through the streets with Lake Region on one side and Winter Haven on the other. But it was a great event, and bringing the community together in raising some money for our community was very special. I also would like to kind of piggyback on what Mrs. Cunningham said about our shelters and the hurricane. The day, I mentioned this a little bit during one of our work sessions, and the day after the hurricane, I visited Chain of Lakes Elementary. My intent was to visit all the schools in my district that were shelters, but I got there and the principal put me to work, so I stayed there the rest of the day, which was just fine with me. But it touched me in ways I can't even begin to describe. When I think about what all of our employees do, our administrators, our teachers, our custodial workers, our cafeteria workers, they were all there giving their time as opposed to being with their families. And it piggybacks a little bit on what Mr. Townsend said about the hours that our employees put in every single day. It's just, I'm just very proud to be associated with this school district. I had an opportunity to attend the STEM ceremony for Duke Energy. They gave away at Bach Tower Gardens. They gave away almost $60,000 in small STEM grants, ranging I think from about $3,000 to maybe $5,000 or $6,000 to various schools who applied for them. And I was looking at the list of donors on today's agenda, and really hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars every month from our community. We have a lean budget, and it's just truly amazing how our community steps up and partners with us to make sure that we're helping our teachers and our students in every possible way. So I'd just like to say thank you to all those folks as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thanks, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Harris?
I'd just like to take the opportunity to bring attention to an opportunity for the community to find out positive news that's going on in Polk County schools. If you're not familiar with, and sitting here in this auditorium, you wouldn't be able to participate today, but every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, we have a radio show called Education Talk. It's on 1430 AM and 96.7 FM. And it is a great opportunity to find out what's going on in Polk County Public Schools and keep up with some positive news. And we have two dynamic ladies that are doing that. They have stepped in after John Small moved on to greener and higher pastures, and have really made that show an opportunity for the community to find out some positive news about what's going on in our public schools in Polk County. Education Talk, Tuesdays at 5 p.m., 1430 AM, 96.7 FM. Thank you.
All right, and now we have an opportunity to hear from the public on various items. And the first person we hear from today is Mr. Chandler, Mr. Victor Chandler. You can identify who you are, and you have 3 minutes to speak, sir.
My name is Victor Chandler. I'm from Eagle Lake. In the past, I've asked you to change the method of calculating a pay raise for teachers to the same as that for administrators, so that the administrators would not have the salary schedule increase a greater percentage when they're reported to have received the same exact percentage raise as teachers. If you view page 1 of the replacement method, you will notice that under the new replacement method, if it were reported to taxpayers that teachers and administrators received a 1% pay raise, the salary schedule, thus pay at all levels and steps of both, would increase by 1%. Notice on page 2 of the replacement method that if both teachers and administrators were reported as receiving a 1% pay raise each year for 100 years, the salary schedule, average salary, and retirement of teachers and administrators would increase 170.48%. The current method utilized in calculating a raise for teachers was developed when teachers were not allowed to negotiate a salary schedule. It was based on the view that the experience of a teacher had no earned value. Thus, if teachers were given the same exact salary schedule as the previous year, it was reported to taxpayers that teachers received a 1% to 2% pay raise. This allowed administrators to simply ask for the same percentage raises as teachers and receive a 1% to 2% greater percentage increase in their salary schedule, thus expected retirements than teachers. At this time, administrators were virtually 100% men. The justification for increasing the salary schedule of administrators a greater percentage than that for teachers when both groups were reported as having received the same percentage pay raise was administrators needed greater pay raises because they were providers for their family, while the pay for retirement of teachers, being primarily women, only supplemented that of their husband. Times have changed, and it's time for you to change with the times. Have the finance department fill out the two documents showing a 1% pay raise for 1 year and a 1% pay raise for 100 years utilizing the current method. Compare it to the replacement method. It should be obvious the replacement method is far superior to that of the current method. Last time I gave you where I took the salary schedule of teachers 2 years ago and decreased it by $100 on each step. And I asked you to calculate what pay raise would the taxpayers be told that was. I assume you found out it was about 2%. I'd like to ask you, how many taxpayers in this county know that you could take any salary schedule over the last 50 years, cut every single number on there by $100, and it would be about a 1% pay raise?
Mary Ann?
Good afternoon, Mary Ann Capizzello, President of the Polk Education Association. Prior to the meeting, I gave you a survey that we did, so I want to talk to you a little bit about it. In mid-May of the 2016-17 school year, in an effort to bring teacher voices into focus, PEA decided to do an open-ended question survey. We did an open-ended survey because we didn't want to force teachers into boxed answers. We posited 3 questions to Polk's teachers, and 2,367 responded. Question 1, what brings you joy in the work you do with your students? We wanted to know to see if there were things that they would talk about that could be replicated. By far, the thing that makes your heart leap when you read this, and it does, is how they talk about that aha moment, bringing joy to students, helping students over and over again. I encourage you to read this document. Teacher autonomy came up because that was important to them, the ability for them to be able to use their creativity, their flexibility as they teach the students. Question 2, we asked what sucks the joy out of teaching for you. But, by no surprise, micromanaging came up over and over again. Lack of teacher flexibility was a frequent refrain. Lack of student discipline and lack of disciplinary supports was also a huge issue. Parent support came up. Lack of administrative support, frankly, came up far too frequently, as did an overall burdensome paperwork, lesson planning, time demands, lack of planning, and shifting mandates were mentioned as well. These are just brief pieces. Please read what they tell you. It is enlightening. Question 3, we asked, because we wanted to bring the teacher's voice to the bargaining table, we asked what we could do at the bargaining table to increase the joy and reduce the stress of your work. By no surprise, money was by far the biggest issue that will come up. But beyond that, they spoke to the lack of planning time. They spoke to testing, which we'll see at the end of this year if we've done enough to help that problem. Lack of disciplinary support, having the student code of conduct enforced. Paperwork reduction, redundant paperwork, huge issues. Coordination and consistency of rules and requirements was raised. Don't start me down one path and then have me do another. And then the last thing, and I'm trying to hurry to beat the clock, we wanted to know, we've been tracking their morale for a while now. How is your morale? Of the 2,367 responses, almost 1,200 responded that their morale was worse than the previous year. 374 teachers felt it was better than the previous year, and 602 reported no change. The remaining folks reported that they were new. We can and must do better. We must listen to our teachers. They move the mission of the district. Their voice is important in the work.
Thank you for sharing the survey. Yes.
May I ask a question? Question, okay, so 2367 responded.
Yes.
What's our total number?
Of teachers, around 6,500. It's a large result.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
It's a large result.
Thank you.
And can I say one, just a very brief thing? It took a long time to disaggregate the data. We put it into buckets for you so it would make it easier for you to read, and then we would have gotten it to you a little sooner except for Hurricane Irma.
Thank you. Mr. Milhorn?
Good evening. I'm Larry Milhorn, president of ASME. First of all, your Mission Impossible. We did appreciate the hard work that went into making that event. I personally did not enjoy the event. We were out in the hot sun. It was a teacher event. It wasn't for the employees I represent. I got a lot of phone calls from my bus drivers. They weren't even included. There was nobody actually even noted anything they did. They were kind of despondent about it. So I do ask, if you do another one, please don't invite us. We don't want to come. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel, and most of the people I've talked to feel the same way. We were put back on a berm. I didn't hear nothing anybody talked. We couldn't hear the speakers. We couldn't hear nobody. And that's just, I'm just being honest. That's the way I feel about it. And then now to get to, we're going to have a ratification on a contract finally. It's been a long time coming. I ain't saying it's perfect and it's everything that we thought we deserve, but it's something we can live with right now. But I do want to make sure that we look to the future and remember our step raises. We're losing a lot of employees, way too many. They come to work or promise something. 1 year, they're supposed to move up. They don't get it. 2 years, they still don't get it. I don't think steps should be bargained. I have a contract that guarantees steps. If you do what the district asks, you should get that step. Bargaining for steps, to me, should not be done. It should be budgeted. And I think that we need to find a way to start budgeting these steps so we can bargain for wages and other benefits and not have to bargain something we've already got in our contract we should be getting. So I want the district to try to start finding a way, not just for us, for the teachers, paras, all of them too. They deserve theirs too. We're doing the work. We're trying to do our best job. The people I represent, we come out, cut down trees and stuff. I had 2 employees hurt bad. Cutting down trees, it's not their job, but they did it to open the schools, and we got them open. So I just want you to realize the hard work we do and do something to help us get our steps every year when they're due. Not making me go to a bargaining table, have somebody say, well, you either get steps or you get a raise. That's not the way it should be done. That's not respect to them employees that are doing their jobs. Thank you.
Ms. Wendy Calloway, I believe.
Hi, I'm Wendy Calloway. I'm a former student from Tenor Rock High School. I went there when the school first opened. I graduated in 2010, so I care a lot about this school, just a whole lot. The school's just been amazing to me and helped me become the adult that I am now and helped me succeed in my life. And because of this, the caring that I have for the school, I'm just outraged with what's going on over there and with how Blanchard has been treated and blacklisted from working in the Polk County school system. And just based on just random little rumor things going on, and the same kind of things being said about Looney, and he's got, sorry, here, I've got notes. He's got allegations against him of direct sexual harassment and from different women in his chain of command, and nothing's being done about it. And I think it's really created this kind of air of fear from the teachers and their workplace at the school, and the fact that nothing's being done about it. I mean, it's just kind of crazy, right? I feel like the teachers there are afraid to speak out about anything because there's been this precedent set in place. Well, if you say anything, maybe you'll just get fired instead. And the fact that these teachers feel like they can't talk about what's going on is insane. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Caden, I think I got that correct.
My name is Kevin Caden, and I visited a friend the other day with a large collection of Beatles records, and I was immediately reminded of this board and the song, "Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell?" And now, this school board has somebody like Billy Townsend wrecking this secret society, telling everybody, complaining now about the latest investigation. The school board said there wasn't even an investigation going on. The public has no significant board experience, so they wouldn't understand. Remember, it isn't a scandal if nobody knows about it. It isn't a lie if you really believe it. I agree with Superintendent Byrd, who stated, quote, "I support all school board employees," unquote. All, equally. She just supports one school board employee more equally than 3 others. It is Mr. Harris and Chairperson Fields, along with a couple others who've been voted out, who guided this Titanic school district right into that iceberg known as former Superintendent Catherine Leroy. And when the district was adrift, slowly sinking, they attempted to make sure that didn't change, to conceal rather than confront. If it was up to them, Ms. Leroy would still be sitting there. They even had a report generated by the law firm of Sniffen and Spellman exonerating Ms. Leroy. There's a video of her proudly proclaiming the results of that investigation. As she said, ignore everything, including, quote, "witness testimony which is unreliable," unquote, and only believe her denials and the report. Coincidentally, the very same law firm, out of the thousands available in Florida, who exonerated the scandal-plagued city manager Doug Thomas during his multiple fiascos up in Lakeland a few years ago. What are the odds? Is there a connection? I wonder. And it all would have worked out except for that pesky Billy Townsend, who just wouldn't start believing. He actually read the report, saw how absurd the conclusions were. He formed a group of more pesky peasants and had enough connections to get the local media involved. They were outraged, threatening to bring pitchforks, and Catherine Leroy resigned in disgrace. Tim Harris is in favor of the status quo, keeping things hushed, and disingenuous negotiating tactics regarding salaries. Everybody can't be great, but if this school district can't be excellent, at least it can continue to be X-rated.
Sarah Fortney.
Sarah Fortney, proud science teacher, Stanball Middle School. Status quo must go. I think everybody's feeling the heat up there. Impasse next week, the pep rally. Tell us again how much you value your teachers, secretaries, and paras. I'm still getting over that. Maybe you should monitor social media a little more closely. You really didn't need a survey sent out to find out how people really felt, and your ears should have been burning. So out of touch with the employees, I just, it's a shame. Our profession is on the verge of collapse. I love it too much to stand back and watch that happen, which is why I'm up here. Just do the right thing on 1030. Show somebody that you care enough about them. These teachers are floundering. Our secretaries and our poor paras. Status quo must go.
Jennifer Saban.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Saban. Before I begin my prepared remarks, I'd like to acknowledge the teachers and community members who have already shared tonight about finalizing teacher contracts, and I'd just like to thank them for expressing about the other issues that are happening in our schools. However, tonight, even though these are all important topics, which you're probably receiving a lot of emails about, or at least I hope you are, I want to talk to you about charter schools. I think it's wonderful that Lakeland Montessori earned a highly effective rating. Kudos to them for attracting families that care about their children's education. However, I think as a district, it's short-sighted of us to simply give them an extension of their contract. If they've been able to achieve academic success for so many years in a row, why are we not asking how we can replicate their model in our traditional public schools? It seems foolish to have such highly effective schools in our district and to ignore the things that make them successful. You know, it would be really easy for me to stand here and say the reason they're highly effective is because they serve a higher socioeconomic status community than the majority of our traditional public schools. In fact, research would support that if I wanted to say it. It should be common knowledge by now that the best predictor of a school's grade is the socioeconomic status of the families it serves. Of course, we can't conjure jobs and money for all of the families in our district to solve the problem of poverty. If we could do that, then this board meeting would be broadcast on C-SPAN right now. Everyone would want to know how we managed that kind of success. So, what are we supposed to do with this knowledge about our highly effective schools? If we're not just going to write it off as a healthy side effect of a wealthier, educated families, then we need to look deeper into what these schools are doing. What makes all of the schools that received multiple highly effective ratings so successful? Let me pause for a moment and give some personal disclosure. I placed my oldest daughter on the waiting list of Lakeland Montessori Schoolhouse before she was in kindergarten. She was finally eligible for a spot at the beginning of 4th grade. We waited 5 years. After a tour of the school and a long conversation with the principal, we turned it down. I would have loved for all of my children to experience a Montessori-style education, but options in Polk County are extremely limited. Now, back to what we should do with this information about Lakeland Montessori being highly effective. If we're to believe charter school advocates from the beginning of the charter school movement, we would expect that our school districts would take the information from the charter schools and bring them back to our traditional public schools, implementing the ideas that brought success to the charter schools. So I want to ask this board, our district employees in the Office of Innovation, and the community to consider bringing the Montessori model to one of our Title I schools. Maria Montessori created this classroom management and education style with low socioeconomic students in mind. To be clear, I'm not suggesting we create another magnet program at a Title I school just to bust in students to improve test scores. I'm suggesting we take advantage of these successful resources by bringing them into our classrooms. You have an altered opportunity to change the culture in our public schools, regardless of where the good ideas originate from. If it's deemed good enough for our charter schools to get a 15-year contract, why is it not good enough?
Bishop Mincy, I don't see him in the audience. Okay, those are the only speakers that I have for today. If there aren't any other speakers, this meeting is adjourned.